Happy New Year and welcome back. It's been a while, but I've been busy, alright? So in the last video I repaired the chassis damage caused by the subframe, which was super fun.
Of course it seized on there. What a f***ing pain in the ass.
Oh my god!
Fantastic.
But in this episode we're going to do something a bit more exciting and turn this into this. It's roll cage day! 38mm motorsport tube, some cool dimple dyed gussety things, some tacos, and a pre-loved main hoop from Skyline. So to save myself some time and dollars, scope this out on Marketplace. It's a bolt-in cage out of a R32 Skyline, I think. And I messaged the guy, the dimensions pretty much fits perfectly with the issue of it just sits too low. Picked that up for 150 bucks. Has the rear stays as well. But that'll save me a ton of time because I don't have to bend anything. I don't have a bender anyway, and then I don't have to pay someone for a bender. Nearly 6 meters worth of pipe there. Alright, so this is the plan. So I'm just gonna 90-degree cross through the middle, 2 rear stays coming off the back, and then I'll put some horizontals across for my harnesses to wrap around. Time to get started. Now here's what I'm using to lift it up, box it up with a bit. Like super thick, 100mm tall, which will just go there, around abouts. And now that I've got the seat in position, I can work out roundabouts where we need to be. Lines up pretty good actually. Good old zip ties save the day. Yeah, so that's how it'll sit. It's enough clearance for the seat, and that's the seat set on its furthest back position, so that's good. So far so good. So I just got my 38mm hole saw, same size as the pipe, and I'll just find the center point of both pipes, run a pilot drill through both sides so I don't run off course. And then use my hole saw to notch it out. Notching these with a hole saw worked pretty well, but it was a little bit time consuming and messy. The hole saw kept getting bound up, and just getting it all lined up and everything was a bit of a pain. I'm more comfortable on an angle grinder, so I cut the next ones with an angle grinder, and it turned out to be a lot faster and fits pretty well. So that's the cut with the angle grinder, and you can see there's barely any gaps, and that's a 45-degree angle, as you can see. And I'll show you how I did it. So I'll do an example on this. This is the bottom corner, and it's all a 45. So what we need to work out is the exact shape we need to wrap around this, the cut for this pipe. So I thought, how am I going to work out the geometry for this, because it's a bit of a weird shape. And I did a bit of research, and I found this tube coping calculator website, which is pretty awesome. I'll put a link in the description. So you can pick inches or mils. I'm in Oz, so I'm picking mils. The tube diameter is 38. The thickness, I can't remember. I think it might be 3, but I don't think that's going to matter to me too much. And this is the cut tube diameter, and then the other tube it's joining to is the same, so I'll put 38. The angle is 45, no offset. And then you go calculate. Pick whatever format you want the pattern to be downloaded in. I'll just go PDF. Ta-da! That's the shape to cut for the 45. Now my printer is out of ink, so what I had to do is work out the circumference of 38 millimeter, which is close to 120 mils. So then I just scale this. Bam, 120. Now I get a bit of paper. You won't be able to see it here, but then I just trace the shape and the center point, and that's it. So then yeah, you can do whatever angles you want. We can just go for a 90, calculate, boom, there's the shape for a 90. Pretty awesome. Saves a lot of guesswork and measuring. Metalgeek.com. So next we just cut this out. And boom, there's our 45 cut that we need. So then I just made a template out of this stuff, just a bit of folder plastic, just so it's a bit more durable and a bit easier to use. So that's our 45 again. So then you just need tape measure, your template, a marker, a cut-off wheel, a flappy disc and a grinder obviously, and safety gear. And I'm just going to eyeball it a bit, so we'll run that down to there. And so where that comes to a stop under the other pipe, we know that's close to the center point, and that's roughly where it should be. Alright, all done. These two 45-degree angles using a grinder took me less time than to use a hole saw just to do the straight 90 degrees. It's not too bad for a home job. Like, I can probably finesse it a little bit more with the angle grinder, but it pretty much fits perfectly. Got a bit of a gap to fill with weld there, and it all lines up dead center too. 610. So for me, using the grinder is way quicker. Obviously if I had a proper notcher that would be pretty good, but yeah, to do it at home, if I'm ever going to do this again, I'm definitely going to just keep using the angle grinder. So now I'll just tack it all together and test it and see how we go. And so I wanted my wiring to run under the box section, so I just wrapped it in some leather so while I'm welding it, it doesn't melt to shreds. Alright, main part of the cage is done. It's probably a bit topsy-turvy the way I've done it. I think you're supposed to sort of do it in the car, but I do things in a arse-about way, so that's how I'm doing it. Alright, now I'm just going to fit it back in the car and hopefully it all goes together as planned. done and painted. Let it dry overnight. See how it looks. Oh, hell yeah! Sick! So I went with a deep metallic purple. Because everyone knows that bright colours like this add horsepower, so that's what I need right now. Welding still needs a bit of work, but it's better than it was. So if you want the Mad Max look, get me to do it. If you want a professional look, get a professional to do it. So I actually added a bit of a glitter clear coat on the black, and it actually turned out pretty awesome. There's this stuff. Duplicolor Clear FX. Pretty hard to find though. I thought it'd be a bit average looking, but it turned out sick. So this is more of just a glorified harness bar than a legit roll cage. If you're going to do any competition kind of stuff, I'll probably get somebody who's does this as a job to do it. It's also a bit of just a practice session for me, but I'm pretty happy with the end result. My harnesses will wrap around these. This is all proper rated motorsport tube, so you can't just get this from like a local hardware. You need to track down the right stuff. But the cost of it all to what it's achieved has been pretty good. So this bolt-in main hoop I got off Marketplace was like $150. All the roll cage tube was about the same. These tacos and the gussets and all the other little bits of metal, probably just a little bit over $350, which is pretty awesome. But I mean, I was pretty lucky that this fits one of these pretty well. I probably could have just done a proper bolt-in kit, but I wanted to try my hand at it and see if I could just make it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope I covered everything. If you got any questions, just hit me up. At least now I can actually start putting this thing back together. Stay safe. Thanks for watching.